Dom Pernasilici from Audiovisual Media. Welcome to Australian Musician.
Thanks very much, Greg. It's a pleasure to be here.
Before we talk about your wonderful facility here, tell me a bit about your background, how you got into this field.
Wow, okay, great question. I started playing piano when I was 11 years of age, singing when I was 17, wrote my first song when I was 15, so it was kind of a natural progression for me. I didn't have a budget to record back then, so I started to get into recording software. Of course, back then it was only MIDI, and you had to do audio on 4 tracks, like Tascam 4 tracks. So that was quite a while ago, but things have progressed since then. So that's how I started off, and then I just kind of naturally evolved into running a studio after studying audio engineering at Australian Audio College in Preston. And lo and behold, 30 years later, here we are.
So what sort of clients have you had through the facility?
Mostly singer-songwriter clients. I tend to also work a lot with the international community. I've got a lot of clients from overseas, like Dubai, India, the Middle East, Italy, some from the USA. So a lot of songwriting jobs where I have to write musical parts for clients, as well as record vocals to have them sent over to overseas studios. There's a lot of collaboration work that I do.
It sounds like you have to have a fairly good internet connection then.
Absolutely, yeah, that's paramount. Yeah, so 100 megabits per second. So it's pretty damn fast, which is important. If I didn't have that, I'd be well and truly in trouble.
Another element that you've added to audiovisual media is Praetorian Records, a record label. First of all, the name. Where did that come from?
Praetorian Records. It's an interesting name. It's not something that you hear all the time. They were the elite arm of the Roman army, so kind of like the Royal Guard. So and we would like to think of ourselves as an elite level label, providing elite services for our clients and artists.
Why did you feel the need to add a label to your service?
It's a great question. Recording is one thing, but I get a lot of artists asking me, where do I go from here? What do I do? And they're not really sure. Because the industry's been turned on its head since the major labels, had held so much power. So now they're not sure what to do, how to do it. So I've teamed up with my colleague Anthony Scaffidi, who we've known each other for over 20 years, and we formed Praetorian Records to provide an avenue for artists to get to where they want to go, and an avenue for them to develop their artistry into a career.
So the record industry has changed so much, and particularly the way labels operate. What do you feel the role of the modern day record label is?
Well, being an independent label, it's a little bit different to the majors. We work really, really closely with our artists. That's really important to us, to stay grounded, and to provide a nurturing side to them. It's important to help them develop into the artists that they want to be, and to facilitate things like marketing, merchandising, touring, all that kind of stuff. So that's where we come in.
Yeah. What kind of issues do you hear from artists about perhaps negative experiences they've had with other labels? What are the hurdles that they've come across that maybe you think that you can help them out with?
Sure, there are certainly trust issues with some labels. The good old days where the major labels kind of took everything from the artist and kind of left them penniless, really, didn't provide them with much at all, and oftentimes would even shelve the artist. We don't do that, so we want to really build a trust base with the artist and put aside all those negative connotations of record labels. We're there for them and to help them develop into the artists that they want to be, and provide a roadmap for them to succeed in developing a musical career that's sustainable.
So does audiovisual media have a team, or is it just you and Anthony being hands-on?
Yeah, it's predominantly Anthony and I that are hands-on with the studio and the label. However, we have built a network of people from videographers, photographers, makeup artists, session musicians that we call on when required. And they're all top-shelf creative minds. And once again, to provide the best service to our clients, it's important that we deal with the best of the best. So that's a great network that we've built.
So you're based here in the southeast suburbs of Melbourne, but I believe you have contacts overseas that are also part of your network?
We do. We're working with Mark Schulman. He's played for the likes of Pink, Billy Idol, Cher, Foreigner. He's a very talented guy, and he has a wealth of knowledge within the industry. So he's going to be a great assistance to us in terms of audiovisual media, as well as Praetorian Records. He also runs his own corporate speaking company called Mark Schulman Presents, and he travels the world working with corporations. So he has a wealth of knowledge in business as well as in the music industry.
Mark Schulman on the drum!
Hello, Australian Musician Magazine. This is Mark Schulman coming to you from my hotel room as I'm touring in the United States. Now, I play drums for Pink, Foreigner, Billy Idol, Cher, and many other world-class artists. And I'm currently doing high-performance corporate keynotes around the world. I call what I do a rock show disguised as a keynote. And the name of my presentation is Hacking the Rock Star Attitude. Because there is so much resonance between the music world and the corporate world, because top performers in any industry are still top performers. Now, I have known Scaffy for nearly 20 years, and not only are we dear friends, but I've had the pleasure of working with him performing drum clinics all over Australia whilst touring with Pink. Now, Scaffy has teamed up with Dom from Audiovisual Media Studios in Melbourne and formed a new record label called Praetorian Records. And these two companies will be a powerhouse in the music industry with Scaffy and Dom's musical experience and industry knowledge combined. Now, Audiovisual Media and Praetorian Records are working side by side to launch artists on a global scale, and will be looking for new, young, upcoming artists to join the artist roster. I encourage you all to go to visit their website, audiovisualmedia.com.au, to check out the amazing work they are producing and check out the awesome Google reviews they're getting. Now, if you're an artist looking to release your music and forge a career doing what you love, then do yourself a favor and check out praetorianrecords.com, where you can submit your music and bio on their submission page and make contact with this amazing team right now. This is your time, and here is your opportunity. Take advantage of it right away. I wish you the greatest journey of your life.
So what's the benefit for you having a studio and also having a label?
The benefit for me, it's a bit of a personal benefit really, where I get to see the artists evolve and be involved in the nurturing of their career and see them grow. And that's a personal benefit for both Anthony and I, but also we felt that there's a gap in the music industry for us to step in and be that label that's going to build trust with the artist and actually provide a sustainable career for them.
Let's talk about the actual studio here. How long's it been going, and how have you actually accumulated all of this gear?
Wow, that's quite a story. So the studio's been running since 2007. I've never advertised, which is great. It's all been word of mouth, and we've grown from strength to strength just based on our customer reviews, which is really important to us to go above and beyond for them. So the studio's grown quite a lot since then. You start out with one bit of gear, and then move on from there. I've got this Avalon 737 here that I've had this for about 25 years. So if you buy good gear, you don't have to replace it. But you just buy stuff as you need. So I've got a great collection of microphones, including a Neumann U87, which is just in the other room. And you just buy gear as you need it, and expand as you go.
Tell me the story behind the desk.
This is a great desk. This was custom built for me by a wonderful guy called Lee Evans from Fusion Studio Furniture. So big shout out to Lee and Fusion Studio Furniture. Custom built. He actually went above and beyond in building this for me, which includes the Avid controllers, which are integrated into the desk, 6 rack units per side, as well as a pull-out controller keyboard, which really helps my workflow. So it's a wonderful heavy-duty desk, and really helps me to produce the music that I need to produce.
I see on your list of DAWs, on top of the list is Logic Pro, and there are many others that are available if needed. What do you like about Logic Pro?
Logic's great because it's a great creative tool, as opposed to some other DAWs which predominantly focus on audio and leave the rest of the equation out of that. Logic's a great creative tool, and let's face it, today's modern producer is not just about recording, but they have to cover the whole gamut of production, including writing, arranging, and Logic allows me to have multiple sound banks at hand anytime I need them, whenever I want them. So it's a great workflow for me.
You also offer mixing and mastering services as well.
Absolutely.
Mixing and mastering can be very, very important. A lot of young artists, I suppose, don't really realise that. What's your philosophy behind mixing and mastering?
My philosophy is let qualified people do it, like myself. These days it's commonplace for artists to record at home on their own, and I have quite a few clients that actually do that, where they have the facilities to record their vocals, guitars, what have you, at home, because the quality of interfaces these days is just so good. However, when it comes to mixing, there is a bit of an art form there. So if you want the best out of your song, and it's particularly for release, i.e. on Spotify for streaming, it's important that it's done correctly.
Another service that you offer is video production and graphic design. Film clips are ultra important these days with social media, whether it's a full clip or just a snippet for Instagram. Have you done a lot of that? No,
it's quite a new component that we've introduced into audio-visual media. So that's still growing, but certainly we've incorporated that because of exactly what you said, where visual marketing is paramount these days, particularly with Instagram. And it's imperative that we provide that service alongside the audio services for our clients, not only for music videos, but also for digital marketing.
Are there any artists that you've been working with recently that you want to give a bit of a shout out to?
Recently I've been working with a fantastic singer called Lucy Gale. She's a tremendous vocalist, and she's written a whole bunch of songs that we're producing with her for licensing and perhaps release. And also an instrumentalist from Dubai called Redaide, who's a multi-instrumentalist. He plays the cello and the lute. He's from Jordan. And he sends me his songs to mix, so I've got like a handful of songs to mix and master for him. That it's you don't hear much about it here, but certainly overseas he's quite a name.
If artists are interested in working with you and using the facility here, what should they do?
They can reach out via mobile, or they can email me from my website, which is www.audiovisualmedia.com.au.
Dom, thanks for joining us.
Greg, thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure.